I have worms in my head, and they tell me things. One of those things is that the show I'm watching has kinda bad world building. Okay, garbage world building. These worms also wonder why world building is bad, what makes them bad, and why. Now I need to make this video, or else the worms in my head will eat more of my hippocampus. I've already forgotten what my son looks like. World building isn't just a process of making up a cool place for your characters to live. It's the backbone of everything in a show. If it's bad, you won't want to watch. It's simple. It's like an invisible current that plants itself into your brain to help you remember, oh yeah, that's why that guy's arms are made of rubber. Or, oh yeah, that's why that guy's feet light on fire for no reason. My goal in this video is to make the worst show to ever be made with characteristics of different shows' world building. And the first show of those characteristics is
One time, I knew what it was to be black way before I was on the GQ cover.
As the posters will tell you, consistently is really key. Consistency in world building are the rules of the world that need to apply to everyone. Everyone. Characters can't do illogical things or get illogical items or power-ups to forward the plot. To put it simply, the audience has to feel like events are believable and happen because of context. A great example for this is Full Metal Alchemist. The power system is strict, it's extremely strict, but it's logical as well. And they don't care if you're the main character, you're not God, you can be taken. Equivalent exchange is consistent and it grounds the plot in a world that's fair to everyone. No hero shit. Even when the rules are kind of destroyed a little bit, it doesn't matter because there's already a groundwork to why they got broken. So it therefore makes it logical and makes it fair. Now what's a bad example of consistency? JJK just scraped it out of this list with the bullshit that happens in the manga. But this is an anime YouTube channel, not manga. Subscribe. The least consistent show with world building and more specifically power systems, and if that word power systems didn't give it away, it's Do you want to know how many power-ups there are in Dragon Ball Z? There's Zenkai Grade A, Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan, Ultra Evolution, Iron Times Super Saiyan, Spirit Bomb, There's 20! How many were mentioned in the first couple of episodes? Like 2 from memory. Doing the math, that means there are 18 arse pulls in the show. Most shows don't even have one power-up. I want to clarify that getting stronger isn't a power-up. If Kaizen from Jujutsu Kaisen gets stronger through training and looks more confident, that's logical and consistent. If he gets really mad and his hair changes color, that's bullshit. Another example of consistency that isn't a power system is in Death Note. L at a certain point in the show has no fucking reason to think Light is Kira. At all. But due to the power of autism, also known as needing to forward the plot in some way, he just knows. Dragon Ball Z and Death Note are our first characteristics in the worst world building tier list. Just letting you know that these shows being on the list doesn't mean that they're bad, it just means that it's a weak point in their story. These two shows are arguably great at this next rule. Your world needs to be A cool world surprisingly is one of the less important of the 4 rules. Death Note is one of my favorite shows, despite where it is on the list. Death Note's world isn't cool. It's based in the Kanto region, and it doesn't even have any Pokemon in it. Guys, I'm sorry. That joke was genuinely so bad. So, just kind of boring. On the other hand, isekai usually have a very cool world based in some medieval European area. It's pretty much Lord of the Rings. And that's kind of what's wrong with it. This world has been oversaturated that it's become boring to someone that has watched I Bought My Smartphone in Another World Season 2. Oh my god. I guess making a cool world is based on vibes and being unique. There's nothing worse than a copy of a show, especially if it's good. Smartphone show goes on the list. Actually, just like every isekai. I don't really think that matters. Alright, next topic. History is a complex aspect of the world, and if you fuck it up, your anime is shit. I think Sun Tzu said that. In high school, my favorite subject was history because it was entertaining and I'm dumb.
What's 5 and 2? 7.
Still am. Great world building is very rarely about a static world. It's about the world that's formed by past experiences. There wasn't those big metal scanners at airports before. If your world is just here and now with no deeper context, it's going to feel one-dimensional. Your world should have a past that influences the present. How wars, discoveries, and long-forgotten events have shaped the societies and characters we're following. Freedom's a show that's deeply rooted in its history, probably because the characters lived through all of it. But while that helps explain the story in an interesting way, it doesn't hand it on a silver platter. The concept of certain techniques getting weaker over time due to human advancement makes sense. Experience, events, and comparisons are excellent ways to involve the history in a show. But what if you don't rely on that? Some more shows that have good history that don't rely on backstories to hold up the history is Fire Force, Soul Eater, which is pretty much one show, and Mushoku Tensei. A bad example of backstory could be a show where the history doesn't really matter, but I decided to go with Neon Genesis Evangelion. Don't get me wrong, Eva's a great show, but the constant bringing up of topics that have either no or very little history or explanation is insane. What are the Evas? Not explained in the show. What are angels? Not explained. Okay, that's the protagonist and antagonist of the show that we know nothing about. What is Lilith? I don't know. Why does this happen? Why does that happen? Can you at least tell me if Ronald McDonald is a canon character in the Evangelion? Oh. If you only watch the show, you'll get no answers. That's why I have losers in the comments section saying, you just didn't get it. No shit. I didn't watch 20 YouTube videos and read the wiki and watch a spin-off series and play the video games. Now, when we talk about history or the plot or power systems or anything, there's talking way too little, like Evangelion, and there's talking way too fucking much. So that puts Evangelion on the list.
Quero queijo gostoso do mineirinho.
Show don't tell. Okay, I'm pretty sure Sun Tzu said it this time. When writing a book, this rule applies to the utmost extent. Like, your book is seen as objectively bad if you keep telling your audience things instead of showing them. Now add, this sense of sight and hearing, and why are you still telling me that this guy is stronger than the main character instead of showing me? Exposition isn't an inherently bad thing. It's arguably needed to tell a story. But do you know what is an inherently bad thing? Talking to me like I'm a child with a mental handicap.
Blow my toothbrush.
Attack on Titan is one of the best at this technique, using symbolism and foreshadowing to add a reward to those who are actually focusing on the show. My favorite scene in the show is the herring scene, as it displays so much with so little said, and just, some weird looks. Imagine if Ymir read the herring can and Reiner said, wait a minute, you can read this language? That means that you can read the language from outside the walls, and that you're from where I'm from, and that you're probably a Titan, and I am too, and you're a spy, and I'm a spy, and... Don't lose focus, please. Come on, pay attention. Now, while I do talk very harshly on this rule, it's actually extremely hard to accomplish. Unlike other shows, it's not based in a logical world. You don't know the laws, the functions, the powers, and the reason for things happening. For example, a show about cops doesn't need an explanation, because you know what a cop does. You know why they're there, you know what they're doing, you know who they are. On the other hand, get someone to understand JoJo without excessive explanation. They'll have a stroke. Don't do that. So for the bad example of a show, I'll put down Dora the Explorer. Just like too much explanation, too much exposition. Like, I know what's happening. Don't explain it to me like I'm a child. Come on. If you want to go into this rule in more detail, the Peanut Gallery on YouTube made a great video about this topic. So here's the final shows that I'll put in each slot. Drop a comment, let me know which would be better in this position. I've heard Sword Art Online is really bad for exposition, but I haven't watched it, so I'm not too sure. Remember, world building is more than just creating a cool setting. It's about creating a world that feels alive, that feels like it has depth, purpose, and meaning. When you build a world well, it enriches the whole story and makes your audience feel like you're truly a part of it. So tell me what show has the best world building. I read all 3 of my comments that I usually get, so, leave one. I'm actually going to watch Overlord because this guy suggested it. Also, give me ideas for videos. I'd love to hear them. Alright, bye.